Okay, so Steel City put out a new roundtable. Everybody's been waiting on it. I know I've been waiting on it. Uh, let's see if there's some good news or some bad news. Let's find out.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the latest Undisputed Roundtable. I am your gameplay director, Will Kinsler, joined by our studio founder and creative director on Undisputed, Ash Habib. How's it going, Ash?
Not too bad, thanks, Will. Good to be back.
Yeah, we're back. I mean, I think that's probably the elephant in the room, right? Is that it's been a little while since we've done one of these, and we know players are like really eager to hear from us. This has been probably the longest we've gone without having shipped an update during early access. So I know players are like really curious to know what's happening, and a lot has happened over the last few months that we want to be able to talk through. So we'll hop into it.
Okay, thanks for that, Will. Also, to our audience, you might have noticed Will's new title that he introduced himself with. So Will is our gameplay director, and we thought it would be a really good move for the studio and for the game for introduce Will into some of our gameplay designs. So Will is now directly involved in some improvements we're making to the game, just in terms of our philosophy around making the game feel more dangerous, getting involved in the career mode as well, and having a general oversight in terms of how Undisputed is playing. Will brings a whole wealth of knowledge in that space, being a huge boxing fan and obviously a sports gamer as well. So it's something that the whole studio is excited about, and no doubt it'll make an Undisputed a better game for sure.
Yeah, so you mentioned career mode, and obviously that is a thing that's on a lot of people's minds right now. We released a little while ago a sort of teaser trailer letting people know that it's coming, and we haven't said a whole lot since then. And so I think people are wondering, well, what should they expect here moving forward when it comes to career mode?
Okay, so career mode. The big news here really is we won't be dropping career mode this year. Um, we are making some further improvements to career mode, but essentially we're looking to drop it early next year. Um, there's a few reasons why we decided to make that decision. The main one being we really wanted career mode to be in a place that we were happy with when we launched the beta version of career mode into early access. So those of you who've been following the game obviously know that we've been trying to make some improvements over the past few updates with regards to AI and how dangerous the game feels. And we just felt like career mode is going to be the main single player part of the game, and we really wanted to make sure that those improvements were meaningful in terms of making the AI feel more dangerous, but also things like career progression, the economy, and making sure that when career mode is dropped, people will absolutely love playing it. So it wasn't a decision that we made lightly, but throughout the development process of Undisputed, quality is something that's really important to us, and not just rushing out updates, and then having to put fixes on the back of updates that are released. So yeah, career mode it's getting closer and closer to that release. Um, and yeah, I know this isn't probably the news that everyone wants to hear about pushing dates back, but
Definitely not.
we're very excited about the changes we are making to career mode and the updates and improvements we're making to it. So yeah, that's the main thing with career really.
Yeah. So yeah, for somebody, there's somebody out there, Ash, that is thinking, I'm gonna be playing this over my holiday break. So to that person, to those
Yes, I was
people,
one of
right?
those people
We're
thinking that.
sorry. We really want to ship career mode and have it be even though it'll be in a beta state when we ship it, we still have there's still a standard, right? There's still sort of a bar that we've got to hit. It's one of the things that I've been focusing on with the design team is to look at some of those different areas that Ash is talking about. There's an update that we're going to ship before career, that will help make some of those things happen. And then when that career update comes, it'll incorporate some areas that we think that will be necessary in order to make career mode fun and exciting that first time that you play it. So yeah, I mean, I think it's tough, right? It's tough when we have these moments where we put out a trailer and we're kind of excited about it and we want people to rally around the moment. And when we did that, we thought we can get this done in this window, fall, like we said. And now, we're looking at it and saying, not quite ready. And we've been really hesitant over the last couple of years to talk about things in advance of when they come out, right? And that's because in this sort of journey that we've gone on of building the game and going into early access, some of this stuff has been tough to nail down. Like we're a growing studio. I think we've had challenges around like balancing the frequency of updates with, where players are wanting things more often versus like, do we feel an update is made enough progress in the game to be able to ship it, right? Where I think we've had a couple of misses that we've talked about here on the roundtable with in that regard. So like, and some of that is like, we have features and systems that we're building in the game over the course of time, right? So we might do like 4 or 5 things that impact something like damage, and we've done things like ship 1 or 2 of those in an update, but then players play it and they feel like this isn't really better. This isn't really, more consequential. It's not, I'm still feel like I'm eating, 5 Wilder, straight right hand, power right hands, and, and nothing is happening. Right. And so it's not that we don't understand that, right? We understand that that's the experience that you guys are having with the game. It's a bit of a learning curve for us in terms of like the cadence of shipping. And some of what we're learning is that like, shipping more often it's something that we wanted to do, but it's not always what's best to do in terms of like the overall health of the game. And we have to think more about like the long-term game that we're trying to make, and make sure that we're not putting out an update, where then you guys are like, I don't get it. I want to see this be better. So I was saying maybe Ash, you could maybe provide some context too about just like, I've been here for almost 2.5 years now. Things have really changed. I think the studio is like twice the size in terms of people since when I joined. But like, maybe you can speak a little bit of that, of like just how it's been a learning process for us, because we're not just building a game, we're building a studio, and we're learning all sorts of stuff along the way.
Yeah, absolutely, Will. And look, we started out, I guess the story we've been over a couple of times, but we are still a new studio. This is our first title. We made some mistakes along the way, and we'll probably make a few more because we're learning as we're going along. And yeah, in terms of the growth of the studio, making sure that the game is also evolving, the studio is evolving as well. And when we started out with Undisputed, esports boxing club back in the day when we started out. This was a small passion project that's turned into what is becoming hopefully a great boxing franchise. So getting from how we started out to where we are now, it's just been a process of maturing as a studio, and some of those decisions we made early on, we've had to undo and kind of start from scratch again. Just as the games, increased in quality, increased in size, and each time we raise the bar in one area, we've got to do a complete review of every other part of the game, and then going back to essentially upgrade other parts of the game. So it's just been a process that has been continually going on for the best part of the last probably 2 years, 2.5 years, as far as improving aspects of the game. So this is something that we're going to continue to do, and whilst it's not great,
Getting real sleepy.
when we're not releasing content maybe as soon as people would like, the studio's hard at work, and we're confident that the next update that will be shipped will have some real meaningful changes, just in terms of what the feedback's been in terms of making the game feel more dangerous. Some of the changes we've made to the rebalance of how the damage works and how the health works as well.
Maybe one thing you could talk about, I think, is like talking about that journey, one of the things that we've done recently to sort of like invest in our ability to mature as a studio is actually we've added a lot of folks, right? Like we've brought in some people. Can you talk a little bit about like some of the things that we're doing to help us improve and grow and learn as a studio?
Absolutely. And look, I think as part of what we're doing in terms of that growth, we have brought in some really senior, experienced people from big AAA studios. By bringing in more experienced people who have, made big franchises at other AAA studios, it definitely helps us in terms of our long-term planning, and also just making sure that we've got the right processes in place. So we're not, falling over ourselves in terms of, whether they're updates which, we're having to kind of go back and redo again. But at the same time, it's not a case of like, we're just bringing experienced people in and we're going to change the philosophy and what we're trying to create. It's just more about the guidance for the young development team that we have. Because we're really proud of some of the innovation, the innovative features that we've got in Undisputed, which I think the whole dev team can be proud of. That's not something we're looking to change. It's just bringing that additional layer of experience into the studio, where we can start operating in probably more of a stable fashion.
Yeah, and a couple of other things that we're doing to sort of keep us on that track of authentic, realistic boxing. Community probably already knows about this by the time you hear this video, but we're hiring across a lot of departments. But one of the things that we're doing is we're hiring a couple of game testers. They're going to work closely with me and the design team to validate features, give feedback on some of these things, make sure that we're having like even more scrutiny around things before they go out into an early access build. That's something I'm pretty excited about. I think that sort of mix of you bring in, senior leadership and developers that can help us with our process and how we organize things, and how we, make improvements, but also adding more,
Pause that. I don't want to talk over him. I am looking to be hired. The application is in. BZR 1986. I am not hard to find. If I am, somebody knows me. Somebody knows me.
Those people who are fans of boxing, that are close to the game, that understand the game. We're putting everything into it that we can to get this game to exactly where we want it to be able to get to a full launch. I do have to talk about the roadmap, right? So we've got our roadmap that at the start of early access, we released and put that on our Steam page and stuff like that. And so career, obviously, one thing that has fallen out of 2023 into early next year. There are a couple of other things that are going to come alongside that. Just want to mention before we move forward. So one of them is character creator. We're pretty excited about it. We really like our character creator. It is going to ship alongside career. That's necessary for career. So that'll be early next year. And then there's also fighter select customization and some of the accessibility improvements that are just a little bit behind the things that we're going to do in this next update, because we really want to put out an update.
Okay, that was something that a question that was like on my mind, but it kind of seemed like it was obvious. When you come out with career mode, you're gonna get create a character with it, and like all the little doodads that I would assume, like, it would make any sense to put out the career mode and character creator, but not have like almost 100% of the customizations that are gonna be available in the game. Like, they need to test all of that stuff, and it all needs to be accessible, and it only makes sense for it to all come out together. But good clarification. He said it.
It's super meaningful, that has impactful gameplay changes that you guys are looking for. So the rest of this video, that's what we're going to be talking about. We're going to ship this one more update before the end of the year, our .6 update. We're going to show you some of the changes we've been working on, break down our broader philosophy as we go. So we'll let them take it away.
What is going on, Fight fans? Thank you so much from the bottom of our hearts here at Steel City Interactive. Thank you for sticking with us through this journey. We appreciate your time and your patience. Your input and feedback has been critical to helping us build Undisputed into the best game that we can. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and jump into what you can expect from our .6 update. Enjoy.
So yeah, one of the first things you're going to see is an enhancement to the amount of blood on the face and chest. Essentially, more splatters and more drips of blood, as you'd expect to see when you're battering an open wound. We've also deepened the discoloration of the bruising, so you're going to be seeing more darker and more realistic purples and slight reds to simulate the colour of the blood rushing to the surface of the damaged skin. You're also going to be seeing blood on the shorts, so it's not just for the body and gloves now. Punching an open wound will cause the splatters on the shorts, so no more pristine white shorts when you're dripping with blood. We've increased the variety of the cut positions, so not always going to spawn in the exact same location. So cuts will still be to the left and right of the face, but this means they can spawn in a few different locations in a given zone. The sweat will also now have a tinge of blood to it. Pretty self-explanatory, but you can expect to see some drops of blood mixed in with the beads of sweat. And we've also added a new zone for the cuts to appear, so damaging the centre of your opponent's face can now result in a cut appearing on their nose as well.
Let's talk about damage and...
That was pretty cool. Them adding new cuts across the bridge of the nose and, different locations and getting the trunks bloody and stuff like that. I think that is a knee-jerk reaction to UFC 5. If I just had to go out on a limb, I would say that's a knee-jerk reaction to the level of detail that was in UFC 5, which I like. I like the level of detail in UFC 5, and I like the extra blood and the extra, cut exaggeration and things that's going on here as well. I like it. So it's a knee-jerk reaction, I believe, but I think a good one.
Stamina. First, a quick reminder about what we aim to accomplish in Undisputed. When it comes to both of these areas, we want the game to feel more consequential than it does today. This means a player should be able to capitalize on an opponent's mistakes, and that players will have meaningful choices that can impact the outcome of a fight. For example, you might choose a fighter like Joe Frazier or Rocky Marciano, who are known for their ability to take an opponent into deep water. In order for that to happen, stamina has to feel consequential so you can use that as a valid strategy. The same thing is true for damage. We want fighters like Deontay Wilder to feel truly dangerous. This means you can't keep eating power shots from him and stay on your feet. We know that's possible right now, and we're going to address it. So, how will our .6 update get us closer to making Undisputed feel more consequential? We'll start with health and damage first. We've unified the head health and body health into 2 health bars. This should make health distribution and entries into Dazed feel more representative of what's happening in the fight overall. We've also added follow-through damage to punches, meaning that if you get hit into Dazed with a really solid punch, some of that damage can actually follow through and your Dazed health will already be partially depleted, meaning it will take less additional damage to get that knockdown. Follow-through damage can also now result in a flash knockdown, which we've been able to reduce the feeling of randomness that currently exists when you see someone flashed and hit the canvas. With stamina, I'll talk about a change in the .6 update and then one to look forward to a bit later on.
Maybe I'll see it.
In .6, you'll see that stamina recovery is now based on a fighter's activity in the previous round, allowing you to better manage their stamina throughout the course of a fight. Throw a ton of punches, and you won't recover as much stamina in between rounds. Or maybe take a round off and throw less punches to give yourself more stamina at the end of a fight. It's not ready for .6, but in a future update, there will also be further adjustments to movement and loose movement, and you won't recover as much stamina in between rounds on a fighter's activity in the previous round, allowing you to better manage their stamina throughout the course of a fight. Throw a ton of punches, and you won't recover as much stamina in between rounds. Or maybe take a round off and throw less punches.
He said, throw a bunch of punches, and you won't be able to recover as much stamina in between rounds. Throw a bunch of punches, and you won't be able, just pay attention to that.
To give yourself more stamina at the end of a fight. It's not ready for .6, but in a future update, there will also be further adjustments to movement and loose movement when fighters are low on stamina. This is aimed at increasing...
What? Adjustments to loose movement. Adjustments to loose movement.
Increasing the consequences of stamina mismanagement. Currently, if somebody's low on stamina, they can still fly around the ring like it's round 1. So there's a missing piece of the puzzle that will close the gap and make stamina feel more consequential. And of course, as we introduce these changes, we'll continue to evaluate how damage and stamina mechanics are impacting fights and make necessary balance tweaks over the course of time. Longer term, we'll also be taking a look at our roster to ensure fighter ratings make sense around these consequential areas and provide clear differences when selecting fighters, which leads us to the next topic, fighter differentiation. There are a lot of great licensed fighters in Undisputed, and it's important they feel unique. And for the upcoming career mode, the choices you make on what fighter attributes to focus on need to feel meaningful as well. It's that foundation around damage and stamina systems we just talked about that will help get us even more uniqueness out of the boxers in Undisputed. With that in mind, here's some things that we'll give attention to across the remainder of early access. There will be further stat balancing of our roster to make sure boxers are as true to form as possible with clear differentiation so you know the right fighter to match up with the way you like to fight. We'll also be looking at our roster to make sure those fighter archetypes are set up on the appropriate boxers. And we'll continue to introduce new traits and to refine the ones already in Undisputed. This is great for personalizing both licensed fighters and custom characters and will be especially important in shaping your career.
So once again, guys, thank you so much for your time, your support, and your patience with us through this journey as we continue to build this game with your input and support. We're excited to see your reactions to the changes that we've shared here and to the next 2 updates when they arrive. So until next time, guys, peace out.
Wow. So they're adjusting stats. Thumbs up. They've been in need to adjust stats. New traits to like kind of balance out the fighters and make the the saying that styles make fights or fighters make style. I forgot what the saying was. I forgot what it was. Something like that. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Traits they're gonna be new traits, more traits. It's going to make the fights get a little bit more interesting. The follow through punch, the follow through is kind of like a flash knockdown, kind of the same, but not the same. That's pretty cool, and the stamina, as far as they continue to make adjustments to stamina. Stamina's been, one of the things that people just are either they don't like it or they're not wrapping their head around it, or they just don't feel that it's true to boxing, true to real life or whatnot. I was trying to pause it earlier. If y'all noticed, a lot of people that didn't start playing this game when it first came out, there was a part at the very end where it showed the body health. They actually had like the block health and the body health and the head health as they were punching. It seems that the devs are still using, they have it unlocked or whatever, where they can see how the body and the head health is being affected in the game or whatnot. Or maybe that means they're bringing it back. Maybe they took it out and they're bringing it back or something. I don't know. But some of that stuff was pretty exciting. New traits, follow-throughs, maybe a better understanding of flash knockdowns, not flash KOs, but flash knockdowns. And what else was it? More stamina management. The effect of loose movement. They brought it up, but they didn't really show anything. They didn't really say anything as to how it's gonna work. But I have been begging for them to do something with the movement in the game. You beating up a fighter. You're beating them up, for 10 rounds. In the 12th round, this fighter's still running around like it's the first round, and you've been beating on him all day, and you just can't get him out the fight. Finally, they're doing something about it. Can't wait to see how they're going to implement it and how it's going to affect fight strategies. But all right, that's enough for me. I'm out.